slanging my banging my swinging my coupe, DeVille, scoop, DeVille, like that.
Welcome to Neutral Voices. I'm Dr. V, and this is In Depth, where we dig deep in the trenches of what matters. Our topic tonight is very interesting. Where's the men? But more specifically, where is the man of God? We
That's
have
a
a
great
short
question.
video. We're going to take a look at it.
Where are the men of prayer? Where are the men who count God's word as more important to them than their daily food? Where are the men who, like Moses of old, commune with God face to face as a man speaks with his friend? Where are God's men in this day of God's power?
Day of God's power. Where are the men? Now, before we get into this, because this could go a lot of different directions, but before we dig deep in the trenches, let's define from our perspective. Thank you for joining us. This is Neutral Voices, and we're going to have a little bit of, our personal opinions here tonight. So just want to be clear about this. So how do you define a man of God? We're asking the question, but how do you? So E, let's start with you. How do you define
I define a
man
man.
of God?
I define a man of God as a man of valor.
Man of valor.
Just
Not-
that simple.
So when I think of a man of valor, I'm thinking victorious, warrior, fighting, survivor, strength, something. Is that?
I mean, a man of valor is the man is to be a man of courage, of fearlessness. Especially in battle. Now we are in a battle right now. So we got him. That's a stand-up man. He's gonna stand up regardless of what, and not gonna be scared, and have a strong mind of spirit. So you have to understand when we look at a man of God. I'm not putting him in a nutshell at all.
Okay.
Right. I'm not just sitting him in a church. I'm not just sitting him on the deacon board. It's cats that don't go nowhere near the church has more valor in them than a man are in the church.
Right.
So you have to look at it from a broad. Then we just had this show about the holistic thing. That's how you have to look at it.
Right.
Holistically, I got you.
So I'm just
Okay.
saying.
All right. Okay. We can digest that.
Yes.
Okay, Clarence, how do you define a man of God?
First of all, I'm a agree and build off of what E said, because I do believe some of those are the same key values that a man of God need. But not only that, the man of God needs to be a person of integrity, a person that is not able to have his reputation impugned, a person that would be able to stand in front of people and be able to lead people, not only with the fighting, but with the mindset and the spirit, and they're going to make a change. And first of all, to be a man of God, you have to love the people.
Okay.
You have to love the people more than you love yourself or your own ambitions. So that's the first thing you got to show to be a man of God. You have to love the people.
Okay. Awesome. I love that. So E, if we reference the video real quick, something stood out in that video to you.
What stood out in that video to me? The last part, the last sentence. It's just, where are we at
Okay.
in God's power right now?
So when you think of that, what's making you ask that question? What are you seeing that's making you ask the question?
It's not what I'm seeing, it's what I'm not seeing.
Okay.
And I could say myself, I could say a lot of fellas that's around me that are strong men in God. But it's more like we get silenced. When we stand up, we get silenced.
By who? When you say that.
We get silenced by society
Okay.
because they feel a man of God is supposed to be perfect. Now let's break things down. God's disciples was regular men.
Yes.
They weren't perfect.
They was all, they wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Some of the most powerful people God used in the Bible was murderers, adulterers, homemongers. We could break it all the way down.
Okay.
He didn't use the men that was in the temple and the synagogue because he tore that up. If you think about it, he used regular people. He didn't use nobody that act like they had, I'm a big shot. No.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, a man of God is a stand-up person.
I agree with that.
And he does have flaws. So
Okay.
who doesn't have flaws?
That's right.
You show me the perfect person, I'll show you their grave.
Ooh, I like that. I agree with that. Okay, so I have some questions. Because I really want to get some good content out and as I said, dig deeper. And so with this subject, so here's some questions. So in our community, who are the men of God? When you think about our community, who are they? You don't, if you don't say the name, but category, something. We need to be able to identify these men of God that you're talking about. Who are they?
Any man that affiliated with OMV.
Just
Any-
okay, plug for OMV
That's
out there.
I mean, any man that's affiliated, 100% affiliated with OMV.
Okay. I
Hands
like
down.
that. I like that.
Yeah, I'm
Okay, but some people don't know what OMV is or who they are. So
They know who we are. They know who we are.
yeah.
our
We
neutral
just-
voices.
Yeah, our neutral voices. We just, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to look at, we're not perfect. We see things that we want to fix,
Okay.
and we're working on fixing them.
Okay.
So, I mean, and we got men in our community. I mean, we got men outside of OMV, but we got men in our community that's honestly standing up for our community,
All right.
but get silenced.
I love that. And there's some that won't be silent.
Yeah, we
That's
won't
in
be
our
silenced.
community.
Right.
And so that's awesome. Clarence, did you have something to add to that?
Well, and I want to say this, and because people might take what our statement is wrong. Now, we do recognize those that are called, those that are ordained or in the cloth, however you want to say. So
Okay.
those are men of God, the preachers, the pastors, ministers, or anything. So we are going to recognize them. There are many of those in the city because there's many of churches in the city.
Right. So
there-
we're saying outside of the
Yes,
pastors.
Yes, outside of the pastors.
Okay.
And I do agree with what he said because, and in that video, one thing it is, and it's not only that we get silenced by the people. Too many times we get together and we get silenced. In that video, it said that we can talk to each other about anything, but when it comes to talking about the power, talking about God, sometimes we silence ourselves.
Correct.
And we don't carry that. So it's just that we need men in the church. When we talk about the church, and we're not focused on the church, but we also have to recognize and state that in our society, in our thought, that the church is the incubator. It's the petri dish. It's whatever you want to call the creator,
Right.
or the gestation where godly men are supposed to come from. So we should see more godly men coming out of the churches, as many churches as we have here, but there's still somewhere there's a disconnect. So this is what we're talking about, not only the men in the church, but the men in general that are following God that are not in place.
Okay. And could we say just a stand-up guy all the way around?
Yes,
Yeah.
So even if he does not profess
right.
to be a follower of Jesus Christ,
He could be a professor. He has to profess, but here's the thing. He may not be affiliated or associated with a ministry or a church,
okay.
but as a firm believer, he don't go to church, he don't support a ministry, but he's been saved and he does the things.
Okay.
So, but he's just not in a ministry.
Okay, I like that you brought that up because then that leads me to this. Would you follow that guy?
If he led in
You
the
know
right
how in
direction.
the Bible says, follow me as I follow Christ.
Right.
Okay, you said if he led in the right direction.
Right.
So this guy has no, I'm just going to say he has no official covering from a religious perspective.
Religious perspective.
Would
okay.
you follow that guy?
Yes, because it depends. Because you only know a tree by the fruit it bears.
Okay.
And you would know if you are, and you would know what he's saying. God gives
Okay,
us a level of discernment that
Okay.
you're supposed to
I'm
be
glad
able
you
to
said that.
discern and
I
understand.
got ready to
Now,
say,
there are
Satan
mo-
out here dropping berries, baby.
Yeah,
Come on,
but
because I'm finna jump in.
They dropping fruit.
There are some, yes, but you should know. And it says, "Study to show thyself approved."
You must
Yeah.
be reading my
Okay.
mind.
So you have to know. So if you know
the voice
and
of your
if it-
father.
and if it lines up, then you'll know.
Okay.
Correct.
I feel like Pastor Kirk. Come on, somebody.
I feel you on that because even if a man do go to church, don't mean he is a man of God.
That's
I
absolutely.
mean, it's many men, and I'm gonna just call it, say what it is. Take all you want it, enjoy your night. It's men in the pulpit They're not even men of God.
Okay.
So you have to look at it from that standpoint. You ask, will I follow a man that doesn't go to church? Why should I follow a man that is in church but that's not of God?
Yeah, but I want to be clear.
No,
I
no,
did
no.
not ask, would you follow a man that didn't go to church? I said, would you follow a man that wasn't following Jesus Christ?
No. You said they didn't have a covering.
That's what I'm saying.
So that means
God, not a building
No.
covering.
The way you said it, you said a covering.
Well, let's keep this clear for the people. When I say a covering, I'm speaking of the covering of God.
Well,
I'm talking about rankings.
And that's what I'm understanding
Okay.
and what you're saying, because
Yes.
rankings it's two different things. Because think about it.
A covering. So let's be clear.
You talking about covering
Who
by
covers
Christ?
the woman? Who covers the man?
You talking about a man that's covered by
Yes.
Christ? Like,
And that's why I said from a religious perspective.
See, I'm not religious, so I mean I believe in the word of God, but
Yes.
I don't follow no set religion because it's made by man. So anything made by man is made of sin.
Let
So,
me
but with
let me
that
ask you it this way: would you follow a Buddhist?
that's a religion, right? I don't follow religion.
Well,
I'm saying if he was here, he said a lot of great things. He's a man of valor. He has standards.
I don't follow if
All
you
of
fo-
that.
If you
Would
follow,
you follow him?
If you following a religion, you following somebody's thought
Not
process.
follow his
No,
religion.
no,
Y'all know what I'm
can I
saying,
answer
but
that?
we're not going to stay here because I got a
and
lot to
I
get
got-
to.
You
I
asked
want to
that
answer
question,
that
I'm answering.
and where you say that. What did you follow as Buddhists? Many of us, Mahatma Gandhi was not a Christian.
That's I want
Many
to
of
put
us
this
follow-
out here when we say
many
where
of
are
us-
the men of God.
Many of us followed Mahatma Gandhi, and he was not a Christian. But that didn't make him a lesser man? of God?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And this is why this is an awesome question to put to men.
Yes. Yeah.
So you have your opinion,
Well, I mean-
you have your rightful stance,
Yeah.
and that's what we're talking about tonight. This is Neutral Voices. Thank you for being with us. And we are asking a question: where are the men of God, specifically in our community? So, and that's why I'm saying if he walks through that door, he has to have some type of standard for you.
Right.
There's something
Yeah.
you're looking for that's going to say, I'll follow him as he leads me to etc.
Right.
So that's why I posed the question. Let me move to my next question. My next question is, who are the leaders and what do we need from the leaders?
Can I get on this?
Is-
Can I get on this?
It's your turn.
Okay. Yes. Let me get on this.
Tag you in.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I want to make this statement, and I'm going to be brief. But I think we limit God to our own understanding. That way we limit what we think the man of God is. I think we all are intelligent to our own right, but I think we understand to the best of our capabilities. Now, who are the men of God? I'm going to tell you they're out there, but I want to give you some examples because some men of God are out there, but they don't know that they have that strength or they don't know what they need to do. Let me give you some biblical, and I'm going to connect it to our present day and time. Two of our most profound leaders in the last century in our community were Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Am I correct?
But wait. When you say our community, I want to be clear.
I'm saying in a broad scheme, but
Okay, 'cause-
and we're gonna talk about, in this instance, I'm gonna talk about the Black community, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
broaden it out.
Okay, you saying
and these two,
who we looked.
yes, and these first
to
two,
lead us.
yes, these first two examples. All right?
Okay.
All right. Martin Luther King Jr. comparative biblically, he was compared to Joshua or Jehoshaphat. Why? Because he used his voice to move things forward, to fight his battle. But not only did he use his voice, he was also ready for battle. In the midst of battle, he continued to fight. You know, look these up. You know these people, Doc B, so I'm going to go with Malcolm X. He was more equivalent to Gideon and Samson, where he was a warrior, always ready to fight. He was in the midst of that fight, and he did it. And sometimes it takes brute strength to get your point across. God
Absolutely.
did not make us all to be passive. He didn't say we all had to be passive.
And guess what? I'm looking for a protector myself.
Yeah, so
in
he
the
didn't-
community,
yeah.
I want to see men that are leading
Yeah.
that's here standing to protect us.
Yeah, so he didn't make us all passive. But I'm gonna give you a few, and these are what the men that we're looking for, and these are the men of God, the type of men of God, and I'm going to equate them biblically.
Okay.
Abram or Abraham. First of all, he just trusted and he went out. So we need those men that can trust and go out and reach out to people, move to a different place, try to conquer and change a mindset. And he also birthed many nations. And that doesn't mean that you have to be the father of a whole lot of kids. Now you got to raise up, if you got an organization, you got to raise up successors to make your organization or your plan continue on. It's not about today. You need to birth and you need to continue. So we need to reach back and reach down to generations beyond us.
Come on now, lead up in
to
here.
be able to form leaders and continue this. We need Noah. Noah trusted, even when people thought Noah was crazy and he said he was going to build this ark. He told them something that never happened before, rain. They was like, man, what is this rain? Why are you building this? It's not going to come. He didn't stop. Many people thought he was crazy. There's many people, when you bring a new idea, they're going to think you crazy.
That's right.
They're going to think you crazy. But if you have it and if you lay it, you keep doing what you're going to do.
He was persistent.
Persistent.
Yes.
Then we need David. David, we need young men. Because some of us old men or some of us older men, we got in our ways and we set in our ways. We ain't got the time. We ain't got the energy. We ain't got the fight no more. Or we scared. We scared. So we need that young man that's going to stand in the shoes, pick up the armor, and take on those giant obstacles that we ain't going to fight no more. So we need those young men. We need Solomon, who's a wise man that dealt in just judgment and led with wisdom. We need Nehemiah. Nehemiah, we all need to be Nehemiah. Nehemiah saw his city, his community in wreckage. He said, I'm going back to build it up. And he did. And then people tried to stop him. Come on, Nehemiah, you don't need to do this. He's like, no, I'm staying here till the job is done.
Yes.
But a lot of us don't have that stick-to-itness, but we need that. We need that person that's going to stick to it,
Yes.
no matter who or what says or what comes about it.
That's it.
That did. Job. Now, Job was a rich man, but he lost everything. He had to recover. All you that been in prison have been on drugs. We need you to tell people how you didn't fell down, but you can come back up. That's a leader. That's the man we need. We need the man that can tell you you can recover
Yes.
from whatever you did.
Yes.
Then we need John the Baptist. John the Baptist. We need somebody to tell us there's something that's coming on. Nobody can see it right now, but it's coming. But on the flip side of John the Baptist, we need that man that's just going to be loud in voice. Loud in voice. Sometimes we just need that loud voice. And there's a lot of loud voices in the community.
Yes.
We just need that loud voice because sooner or later, they might not make it to be the ones to get the understanding, but people will come around to hear what's going on.
Yes.
And then somebody else can come and carry the torch. We need Joseph, the husband of Mary. Sometimes we don't all need to be in the forefront. We just need to be the support of somebody that has a vision of doing God's work.
Wow.
We don't have to be a battler.
I
We don't
love
have to
it.
be a
I don't
fighter.
know.
We don't have to be a worker. We just need to support.
That's it. I feel like you got a
It's
a few
Herman.
more on the list.
He
I don't
got
know, but
Herman going on.
this
Go
seems like
ahead.
this is a Clarence
Well,
show.
let him have it. Let
No,
him have it.
no, it's
Let him have
good.
it.
No, let him
But-
have it. Because
Wait. I don't want you to lose your point because you're saying so many powerful attributes of a leader.
Right.
I want to make sure that we don't rush past them because
hold-
they are good.
Yeah, and I got you. But here's the thing. Now, we're talking about the men of God. Not
Yes.
every man of God is going to be a leader.
That's right.
That's why we need all of these men with all of these attributes. Because even if we're going to talk about Moses,
Yes.
Moses got to a point he couldn't do it anymore.
Okay.
He had to have Aaron and somebody else hold up
Help
his hand.
them hold them up.
So that's what I'm saying. Aaron was not a leader.
Yes.
Aaron was a support. But see, that's the problem with a lot of us. We need the men to support. We need the men
on.
to get in behind.
That's right.
We need the men. That's why I said Joseph. Everybody, Joseph's really not mentioned in the Bible, but you got to think about how
Hard it was.
integral he was.
Yes.
He had to sit back and let it plan. Even though it was against everything he believed in, he had to sit back and let a plan happen.
Respect the process.
Respect the process.
Yes.
But lastly, let's think about the 12. And this is the hardest thing. And this is where we get silent. E. We need men that are willing to change their way of thought, their way of living, their beliefs, and all that. Give it all up to just join in one vision and work together,
One accord.
one accord. But you also don't give up your skills, because they never gave up their skills.
No, they
We
didn't.
need your unique skill sets and your unique abilities to
Yes.
continue on, but we need it all in one place. Now,
That's
as he
right.
said earlier, all these men were not perfect. All of them lives were not together. But what they did is they got it together to get together to make the cause right.
That's right.
That's the men of God we're looking for. And that's what I'm saying. Too many times we're looking for this man, that man, or a man like this. No, we need all men. We need all men. And all men have certain characteristics and certain abilities.
Yes. Absolutely.
We just need, and even in the church, outside the church, or wherever it is.
And you just mentioned that, and that was so awesome. It's like everybody that may be just tuning in, or if you heard it, you might want to press pause and replay it, rewind that back, because it was powerful. Awesome rundown of the different attributes of those particular men from the Bible. And I see it's so obvious how you put it, how those attributes should be in some of our community leaders today. But before we go any further, I want to ask this question, because we're talking about the church and we're talking about where are the men of God. So outside of pastoring, are men teaching in, whether it be in the homes or schools? I mean, are the men feeling the importance and the relevance? You talked about wisdom. Are the men that you see from day to day, do you see an importance of education and teaching from a male perspective?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's,
I-
it's,
go
it's
ahead.
very important, because you have a lot of young men that do not have a father around them. First and foremost, my son is fortunate enough to pick up the phone every time he decide he want to talk. But like I tell him, you have some kids don't have that power. That you just say, Dad, can we sit down and talk? Dad, can we go?
That opportunity.
So
Yeah.
we need other men. I mean, we need other men around to pick up, not to say to pick up the slack, but just to stand in the gap.
Yes.
Because if
absolutely.
a man can stand in the gap, I mean, one of my biggest people I grew up was my track coach. He stood in the gap at times. You know what I'm saying? My basketball coach.
Yes.
You know, my older cousin. They stood in the gap when I needed them to stand in that gap.
Absolutely.
And so it does mean, it really shows that it does take a village to raise just one child. So if it takes a village to raise one child,
yes.
guess how many villages it takes just to raise the ones we have.
generation. Exactly.
Yeah. So you have to look at it from that standpoint.
I love that, and you just
I'm
just described a village.
Yeah,
exactly.
basically.
And I'm going to flip it.
Okay.
Do we have men in education? Unfortunately, yes, but we're teaching the wrong things.
Okay,
Right.
come on.
We're
We
teaching
talked
the
that.
wrong things.
Talked
Okay.
about that.
We're teaching how to hustle. We're teaching how to get over. We're teaching the wrong things. We teach every day.
And that's what I was going to say, because sometimes we're teaching and it has nothing to do with a book. We're teaching by our lifestyle and the way we
Hold on.
maneuver.
I'm gonna take one from you. And the hustle.
I don't mean the work hustle.
Well, see, and that's one of the biggest things. A hustle is a hustle. If it's a work hustle, if it's a street hustle, I know you talking about the street hustle, but you got to understand how many jobs you have.
I mean, oh man.
That's a hustle. You get what I'm saying
man.
now?
Yeah.
you looking at the positive side
Right.
of it.
Yeah, so
Right.
I mean,
Because you
gotta-
have to hustle
you-
sometimes to
Yeah,
get-
you got to
get
hustle
stuff
to do
done.
what you got to do, because if you don't hustle, and you fall short sometimes, so you got to put
But-
that extra hustle in.
I'm
Yeah.
going to give you that. But
So
this
you
is
talking
what I
about
mean.
the other,
Yeah, this is what I mean. Well, I teach my son how to pimp and how to sell drugs.
those they really exist. Those
Yes,
men exist.
yes. I really teach my son, and I understand, because I get out there. I try to make it, do what it do. But instead of me teaching them,
For the
skills-
record, that he's
no,
not that guy.
not hustling. No, I do other things. I do other things. But what I'm saying is that I'd rather teach my son, instead of the skills that I have, I'll teach him the thoughts that I have.
the
street
street wise,
code.
and
So
the
we're teaching
slickness.
slickness. So yes. So but then on the positive side, yes, there's a great number of black men teachers and black men educators that really do love the children.
Yes,
and that's really trying to
absolutely.
make a difference. And we need those in the school because our children are not getting the proper educations that they need. So we need those faces, those things,
Yes.
those entities, those people there that they can relate to and they can connect to and they can make it believable to them.
That's right. And you know what? You said so many powerful things. Blew all my notes to smithereens. I just look, y'all see the shreds? No. But I want to say this, and I want to make sure we because that was so awesome. Anyway, I just want to say this. Research shows that having a positive male role model is vital for child's development. And a lot of people take those things for granted, even in homes where the father is present. You know how we always talk about the missing father?
Right.
And the systems that come against families. And that's where the strength lies, the strength of our future.
Right.
Why? Because if we don't have families, we don't have, watch this, the real family,
Right.
male and female.
Correct.
You coming against the whole system of reproduction
Right.
and
Yeah.
growth and
Right.
all of that. And yes, you can adopt, and yes,
Yes.
you can foster and all of that, but it's nothing like reproducing and multiplying.
He said, "Be fruitful and
between
multiply."
Yes.
male and female.
Right.
And so, I just wanted to kind of put this on there, and I know people probably don't want to talk about it, but when we say, where are they? Can we get down to the nitty gritty real quick and answer the question, where are they?
We're
Because
lost.
that's what we started out with.
We're lost.
Do you know the number? I'm just saying, if I just look at 2019, and this just happened to be a hard fact, not knowing the actual statistics on how many men are homosexual or that are LGBTQ, whatever's going on, whichever organization you want to call it, but the number was like 587 plus thousands.
500,000, over 500,000.
Look, that these were men that was HIV or positive,
Or had AIDS.
and or had AIDS, and we talk about 2019. Now, I'm sure, and the only reason I bring that number up is to show you the large number
Of missing men.
because that was strictly a number for men.
Right.
And so when we ask the question, where are the men of God? I'm saying some of them are caught up in this position.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it there. Where are they?
Yeah.
Give me another place. Where are they?
Well,
Prison,
yes.
incarcerated. That's why, so we don't see them. We don't see them in our communities. We don't see them doing the things and leading. We don't see Superman showing up in our communities, even as conflict mediators,
Right.
trying to solve issues and problems between one another. Like we have gangs in our community. Who's
It's-
the person that's going to step up and say, hey, none of this? Do we have those leaders in our community?
Well, let's go back to where are they? 38% of our brothers are in prison or in jail.
Well,
38%.
I'm gonna up that
Yeah.
number, and this is why I'm gonna say that. And I'm not gonna talk about the incarceration. And let me say this: when we talk about prison, too many times we think about the institution. But there's too many of us that are in prison within ourselves, in our minds, and in our shame. There's
Yes.
too many of us that are just hiding.
That's right.
That we don't let our light shine. There's too many of us that we don't want, like I say, we want to be involved, but we don't want to be out front. And then there's some out front that, they have different agendas.
Yeah.
They have, and not everybody that look like us is for us. Let's really be.
Let's start. Yeah, let's understand that one right there.
Let's really be there.
Absolutely.
So, we need to come out of the shadows.
Come on, man.
First of all, we need to recognize within ourselves who we are
Man.
and whose we are. And secondly, we need to come out of the shadows. We need to quit playing games, hide and seek. We need to quit doing dodgeball. We need to quit doing all of that.
Listen,
we
you
need
got
to,
1 minute to say something about emasculating
I was
the
going
man.
there.
I'm just saying, you
because that's one of
have
the-
30 seconds.
That's one of the biggest things. They try to demasculate us.
Emasculate us.
Yeah,
Emasculate.
and act and make it seem like us being strong men is a problem.
Yes.
First and foremost, us being strong men is the best thing for our community. Period. If we stand up and say enough is enough, period.
Okay.
Just imagine. I'm just gonna put this out there, and I had a conversation with somebody. I said, just imagine, right before school start, if 100 men wrap around each school in our community and pray over it.
Okay.
See how powerful just to see the 100 men
Okay.
in one spot.
visual. I got you.
And on one accord.
Okay. I love that.
And just imagine if we moved across the city like that.
I got that. And even if we have 100 men stand up in their homes and begin to pray for our schools, that would be awesome. If they commit to doing that and actually do it.
Yeah.
Not like the people say, I'm going to pray for you.
Right.
Yeah,
And they forget to pray for
before
you.
The words even got out their mouth all the way they
Absolutely.
forgot. So, you have to look at it from a standpoint. If we just say
Man.
forget it and say, screw what y'all talking about, I can be a man, I can stand strong, I can speak boldly, and don't care what you say.
Wow. That's so
Man, just how
good.
powerful that, just that right there could shut a whole city down.
So good. Listen, this is Neutral Voices. This is the first time I ever had my notes blown to smithereens. I didn't even feel bad about them. I just want y'all to know, if you missed the show tonight, I'm going to need you to rewind it. I'm going to need you to click like and share, all of the above, because it was awesome. And it's so good to have the show led by strong men. And so I just want to thank y'all for that insight. That was wonderful.
Pastor.
So let me
I thought you was gonna walk down the aisle on this.
see this little bit. So this is cute, but I just want to say this, and then we'll turn it to E. With men leading, especially like these men, you talked about, our children have greater ability to take initiative and to do better in life and all those beautiful things. But I just want us to be mindful as we talk about all these things, and we talk about protecting our mind. But what does it look like if we as women don't stand with our men, if we don't understand what the word emasculate actually means, and ask ourselves the question, are we tearing down our men? And is it true that maybe they're there, but they're not afraid, but they just made a decision not to step up because they're tired of fighting the women? So I just had to put that out there.
That's very profound.
Leave that on certain people's minds, because I know sometimes women, we can be a little bit much. I'll just put it like that. Put it like that. So keep it cute. So let's let our men lead. And E, on that note, what do we always say to our people?
Always protect your mind.
Thank you for being with us. This is Neutral Voices. Good night.
Chase 405 is the freeway, slanging my, banging my, swinging my coupe. DeVille, scoop.